Hello and welcome back to Strongwoman Highs - Life is a Mishmash. Today we have a very special guest, the world's strongest disabled woman on the show, Erin Harris. Welcome.
Hello, thanks for having me.
No problem at all. Thanks for being on the show. I really appreciate it. So, do you want to give a little bit of an elevator pitch, brief introduction to who you are, what you're all about?
Yeah, so like you said, my name is Erin. I am the world's strongest disabled woman. I was born with a limb difference, so as you can see, I've got a little arm. My disability is called ulnar dysplasia. Basically, I was born without my ulnar arm and half my hand. I've got very little mobility in my hand. It's good for carrying like the shopping bags, but it's not much good for anything else. But yeah, 3 years ago, I didn't know what a gym was, and now I'm the world's strongest woman. So it's been a roller coaster.
What a come up story. Yeah, proper. That's class. How did you get into the gym then? What was like your starting point for going into the gym?
Originally, so I got married 3 years ago. Originally, my plan was to go to the gym, jump on the treadmill for 20 minutes, lose a bit of weight, and try look half decent on my wedding day. Um, that worked out for probably about 3 months. I quit the gym, restarted again with my husband, and he showed me basically how to lift weights because, again, I had no idea what weights were. That was a man's sport to me back in the day. Um, so he showed me how to do everything, and it just kind of grew from there. I went to the Arnold's 3 years ago. We got tickets. We went to the Arnold's, and that's where I discovered the disabled strongman. And I didn't know what strongman was 3 years ago, which is which is quite crazy to think now. But yeah, that's my little beginning.
That's absolutely crazy. I love that. And it's as well, like, that's surely like a lot of effort on your part as well as someone who is disabled going into a gym in the first place, like huge barrier to entry straight away there. So how did you find that?
It was tough at the beginning. Because I wanted it. I'm the kind of person who wants to do everything now. Um, and trying to figure out like how to do certain lifts. Like I remember my first deadlift was 40 kilos and I really struggled with it. And I remember sitting in the corner of the gym just crying to my husband, like this, what am I doing with myself? Like I can't do it. Um, but I started researching, I started looking up things on TikTok mostly. But there was just nobody really like me until I found Disabled Strongman, the Arnolds. I met a man called Mark Tonner, and he's got one arm as well. So I was like, perfect, I'll just watch his videos. But he's an absolute machine. And I was thinking, I can't do half the stuff he does. So I just started
Yeah.
playing around with it a little bit. And then he messaged me on TikTok. He's like, you need to compete. And I was like, I haven't got the first clue about anything. And he showed me absolutely everything I needed to know. My husband obviously helped me along the way, but it was just kind of figuring out what worked for me, what didn't work for me, finding different adaptations. Now I use a sling for 90% of my lifts. So even just finding that was in America. So just figuring out life. It was a bit of a journey at the beginning, but now it's easy peasy.
Yeah, class that. Yeah, Mark Tonners is such a legend and he's such a cool guy. I've met him a couple of times and he's just so fucking cool and nice, isn't he?
He's
Yeah,
he's a machine,
class.
honestly.
Ah, awesome stuff. Right. Yeah, he's a proper machine, isn't he? So, have you done any sports before this then? Have you had a bit of a sporting background or nothing and then just gym?
No, not that honestly. I was the lazy. I mean, I'm still quite lazy, but I was the lazy person you'd ever meet because, like, even just walking up the stairs was effort. Like, I didn't do any sports. Like, football is not a thing in my life. Like, none of that. So the fact that I was going to the gym and actually telling people that, oh, I've entered the competition. I'm going to do strongman. They were like, no, you're not. Show up, Aaron. Yeah, no, yeah. It
Yeah,
is a bit weird. It's
so
crazy.
class. Yeah, it's cool that though. I absolutely love that. And I think as well, a lot of like that's how a lot of women get into the gym in that first place, isn't it? Is by going in because they have like a weight loss goal or something. And it only takes one person, like your husband, to go, actually, do you know what? Lift some weights. Like you probably enjoy this more. And you're like, oh
Yeah.
fuck yeah, this is actually way more fun instead of going here for punishment to try and lose weight.
Yeah.
No, class. Right, well, let's get into the podcast then. So, since you've been in Strongwoman, what has been your Strongwoman high?
I've got three actually. I was thinking about this. I've got three. So the first one is obviously winning World's Strongest because that's obviously the ultimate goal. Um, so at the moment I've got three England's, three British, one World's, and then one World's Static Monsters as well. So my CV is quite big. So, but winning Worlds the first time was obviously huge, huge, huge growth for me. Um, my second one is it's not really strongman related, but it kind of is. It's related to my disability, but in my journey, I've had people message me like, my little girl has got a similar arm to you, and I'm watching your videos, and I know that she's going to be okay in life because I see you thriving. And I'm like, that's the reason I do what I do, because there's people out there watching me. I didn't have that person growing up, to kind of look up to. There was nobody like me growing up. I hid my arm for probably the first 28 years of my life until I found this sport. So that's massive for me. Um, but yeah, so I just want to do it to inspire others, and be that person for that little girl out there. And then my third one is
Yeah.
sounds a bit vain, but like, I've had so many opportunities. Like, most recently, I've been on a Sideman shoot. I don't know if you watched the Sidemen, but they're quite massive. I've just been on a Sideman video doing a lift. I've been on the BBC. I've helped people with like uni projects. Like, it's actually just a bit. My life is just a bit mad at the minute, but they would probably be my top three. Obviously, Worlds being the ultimate one, but yeah, my life is just a bit mad just because I lift a few weights and have a funny arm.
Yeah. Class that though, it's class. I love that bit of you saying before where you're like the inspiration has sort of like led you to more acceptance of your disability as well, and like showing that like other
Absolutely.
people like you being that person for them that you needed when you were young as well. Like that's just such a cool full circle moment, isn't it, for you?
Absolutely. Like, I went years of my life wearing baggy hoodies and having my hands in my pockets so that nobody would see my arm. And now it is the reason that I am so successful now. It's my biggest asset. Like, it is everything. Um, and there's no shame in there at all.
Yeah, class. Absolutely love that. Tell us a little bit more then about your run up, like your training and worlds and all that sort of stuff. Because so I don't have a massive knowledge of the disabled strongman scene at all. So I don't know what like the competitions are on the lead up to it or anything. And I'm sure there's a few people out there who are the same. So give us a little bit of a rundown of that sort of side of the scene and how you made it into worlds.
Yeah, so I compete with GB Disabled Strongman. They run disabled competitions, obviously all over England and the UK, but they're also the governing body for all disabled athletes. So they have to go through GB Disabled Strongman to get classified into our classes. A little bit like weight classes. We don't compete all together as one, because everybody's disability is so different. So we've got standing classes and seated classes. But the year usually starts around May time at England's, which is at Fit Expo usually every year. So it's England's, then on to Brits, and then it'll be the Worlds. So when I won Worlds, it was in Birmingham, which was really handy for me because it was only down the road. But this year it's at OSG, which is obviously going to be huge for disabled sport because it's the first year we're properly at OSG. So I think it'll be huge, huge for us all. Um, disabled sport, disabled strongman, it's not advertised enough and it's not backed enough. At the minute, they're really struggling for sponsorship and funding, so they're really trying to kind of push it out there. But um, honestly, it's life changing. It's changed my life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's class. It's class that it's at OSG. I didn't even know it was at OSG this year, but that is a
Yeah,
massive step, isn't it? That'll be cool in
yeah,
Texas.
huge. Yeah, so we're on the Thursday with the juniors.
Amazing. That's absolutely awesome. I love to hear that. Yeah, because there's a GoFundMe open at the moment, actually, isn't there, for GB Disabled Strongman, to raise
There
some
is,
money, isn't there, for the loss of sponsorship. So I'll make sure that that's tagged in the show notes below. So if anyone wants to donate, it feels like there's hardly any donations at the moment. So I feel like people need to start fucking stepping up because like this is a super important
absolutely.
part of our sport that no one's really paying attention to. So it needs to be at the forefront for a lot of us, I feel like.
Yeah, and like these people, like some people will look at us and think, "Oh, bless them," like they're trying their best. But these people are professional athletes. Like we've got Dave Walsh, who I'm seeing in about an hour. He deadlifts 700 kilos. Like who can do that? There's another girl, Rachel. She's
Yeah.
deadlifted 400 kilos seated. But like these people they're crazy. Mark Tonner doing an 80-kilo log with one hand. Like, that's a joke.
Yeah, it's
Like,
insane.
absolute joke.
Absolutely insane, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, 100%. I absolutely love it. How did what was so when you won Worlds then, what were the events and what was your training like?
So events wise, I had a dumbbell for reps. Um, 30 kilos, which doesn't sound like a lot, but because I've only got one arm, I literally cannot use my other little arm for anything. But cleaning a dumbbell from the floor to your shoulder with one hand is I mean, it's easy for me, but it's quite tricky. So dumbbell for reps, we had a rising bar deadlift, but it was like set up like a car deadlift, but it was an ice bath on the back because we were sponsored by the ice bath company, which was quite cool. So they'd chuck a weight in every time, and I think I got up to like 225 before I maxed out, which I was quite happy with. And then we had a sled pull, which I absolutely hate sled pull. And what else did I have? I had stones. I know I had stones because I failed the last one. I was fuming. But I can't remember what else I had. It was so long ago. It was last November.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when people put you on the spot with that sort of stuff, you're always like, "Oh, fuck, I don't even know now."
No, I've done so many. I just don't know what I've done anymore.
Yeah, absolutely class. I love that. What a cool come up story this whole thing is. And I imagine as well that you didn't expect to be in this position only 3 years into the sport as well. Like, how have you found that sort of like the massive exposure that you've got out of the sport just within your first 3 years?
It is quite overwhelming, to be fair. I get quite a lot of like imposter syndrome because it sounds really big headed, but I'll go to gyms and my husband does strongman, he just does novice and intros at the minute. But I'll go to competitions with him and people come up to me like, "Oh, I'm following you on Instagram, like you're amazing." And I'm just like, thank you. Cheers. I don't really know what to say. It is quite like freaky that my life has changed so much because I stepped into a gym one day. Uh, yeah, it is
Yeah.
mental.
Yeah, it's class though. It's absolutely class. I love it. Really cool. What a cool set of strong woman highs. We like that a lot. Should we move on and ruin the good vibes and go on to strong woman lows?
Yeah, why not?
Might as well. Go on then. Tell us what have been your strong woman lows then, Erin?
Um, at my gym, Mark Cummins goes to it, and he's pretty annoying. So that's probably my biggest low. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. You'll kill me. Uh, to be honest with you, I don't really know if I have like. Obviously, I've had bad days. I've had good days. I've had bad competitions. I've had good competitions, but I can't say I've really had like a really, really like low point of. I mean, there's been times where I'll fail a lift at the gym while I'm training. I'm thinking, what's the point in doing this anymore? Like I'm useless. And then I remember like 2 years ago, I couldn't do this weight at all. Um, Most recently at Brits, it was 3 weeks ago. Our Brits was at in London, and I failed the 100 kilo stone. And I just remember all year because I failed it at Worlds last year as well. That's all I want is a 100 kilo stone. And I failed it at Brits again. But I've also lost a lot of body weight in the last year, so I kind of put it down to that. But I just remember almost crying afterwards, like really beating myself up about it. But then again, I remembered that my very first England's, I could hardly lift a 50 kilo stone. So actually, I'm doing okay. But I think it's that mental side of it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to remind yourself how far you've come, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't think I've got many lows. It's been a good run.
Always good to have. Yeah, always good to have. I feel like as well, this sport, like we say it every single podcast, is so inclusive. Like it doesn't matter like what you look like, who you are, all that type of stuff. Like everyone is sort of involved. Like everyone loves it, like and loves to support people in this sport. So it's nice to know that that's like for everybody as well.
Absolutely, and like I train with some amazing people, and like everybody just helps each other. Like we all bully each other, but we all help each other out. And even like the people in our categories and stuff are all so different, but we're all there to support and cheer each other on and shout each other on. And like I met my coach through I competed with his mum, and that's how I've met him. And I just love the people. The people are the reason I do it all.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. I love that. Who's your coach then? How did you, I know you found your coach through his mum, but who is your coach?
My coach is Alfie Poyser. He's a young junior. He's 21, which is mad. It's
We
pretty
love
mad that a
Alfie.
21-year-old is telling me what to do with my life. But yeah, I met Alfie through his mum because his mum she wasn't in my category, but we competed together for 2 years. And I originally joined Alfie. He was my nutritionalist, and he helped me with my weight. And then about 6 months into the nutrition, I was like, "Do you know what? Actually, I think because I didn't have a coach for the first 2 years, because I thought, oh, I'll just make it up myself. But I've been with Alfie now for a year and a half, and honestly, my lifts and I mean my body weight, I've lost 25 kilos, so can't complain. But my lifts have
Wow.
just elevated massively. And he just keeps me accountable. I mean, I bully him all the time, and he's a bit of a prick to me sometimes. But yeah, he's a good egg, old Alfie.
Yeah, yeah, he's a good lad. For how young he is, you don't really realize how young he is. I think because he's just such a nice kid, and he like he's so
Yeah.
sensible.
Yeah, and he's bloody
Yeah, he's a
huge.
good
For a
egg, and
21-year-old, he's massive.
yeah, he's absolutely huge, isn't he? He's absolutely huge. That's class. And what was your reasoning behind then the weight loss with the nutrition and all that?
Um, so I kinda got to the point of my training where mass was no longer moving mass, and I was kinda looking back at my videos and thinking, "I don't like how I look." Like, I'm really like, I just don't. I'm strong, yes, but am I strong because I'm fat? That was my thought process. So, um, I've got PCOS, so PCOS, it's a lot harder to lose weight on PCOS, but Alfie was able to kinda work around it for that, for me, and, like, adapt everything for me, and he just did his research, to be honest, and we kinda worked together quite well on that. But I really just kinda wanted to feel better myself. Like, I'm 30 now, I'm nearly 31. I need to not be out of breath walking up the stairs. Like, it's all well and good lifting all these weights, but if I can't even
Yeah.
walk upstairs without dying. But yeah, I feel good. I feel much better now. I'm still on a journey of losing weight, so we shall see how that goes.
Class. Love that. Absolutely love that. What are your plans for the future then? What are your goals in Strong Woman now? Like what's the next steps that you want to be taking?
So obviously I need to get through OSG in November. Those events are quite like, I've got like the deadlift ladder and dumbbell ladder and stuff like that, which is fine, but it's new things for me, like having to strap in and strap out of my deadlift sling. So learning all kind of new techniques and new ways of performing, that'll be my next challenge. But then next year, I don't know if I'll take a step back from disabled strongman, but I still obviously want to compete, but I want to kind of start dabbling in the able-bodied competitions. I want to do UKNS. I know I'm not going to win, and I'm probably not even going to come top 15, but I kind of want to do something different and show off a little bit. Yeah, show off the adaptive side of things a little bit, because the events, they're not the best for me, but they're still manageable.
Hell yeah, I think that would be awesome to see. So in terms of OSG then, are you doing the same events that everyone else is doing? And if you are, how are they adapting those events for you specifically? So let's go through it because I find this stuff really, really interesting and I want to know.
Yeah. So we've got the deadlift ladder to start with. So I've got four. I think I've got 93 kilos, 111, 135, and then 150. So I still have the same 60 seconds as everybody else. I've obviously got my sling, so I need to strap in and strap out as quick as possible. So that'll be more of a challenge trying to get it done in the 60 seconds, to be honest. And then I've got the mammoth dumbbells, so the big fat boys. That'll be a challenge for me because of how thick they are, and obviously I've only got one hand to clean it up. So I bring it to my knee and then I like almost kick it up. Um, I'm always battered and bruised afterwards, but I really enjoy dumbbell. So that again, that's 60 seconds to get all four. So if I get the first three, I'll be happy. Um, then I've got the frame carry, the big timber frame carry, just like everybody else. And I will use again my sling on one side. So I feel like I'm cheating a little bit because I've only got half the grip to deal with, but um, at least it'll look good. And then I've got
I don't
the
feel like you're cheating with that at all. I feel like that's still going to be fucking hard work, that like.
And then I've got the sandbag steeplechase, which I think is probably going to be my worst event. Again, because we've only got 60 seconds. So I use like a ladder type sling. I've got like 4 or 5 different slings for different events. So I use like a ladder type one for my stones and sandbags, but it's rolling the sandbag onto the sling, making sure I'm in the right position, then getting it high enough up on my chest to like get it over. So I think positioning the sandbag onto my sling will waste a lot of time for me. So if I can get the first bag over the 2 hurdles, I'll be happy. Um, so I'm not getting stressed out if I don't finish that one. That's in my head. I already know I haven't finished it. And then I've got an arm over arm set, well, an arm set pull, which again I absolutely hate. So not happy about that one. Cheers, Magnus. But yeah, it should be good. Nice, different events.
Is that an Is that an arm over arm pull, as in you're pulling a rope then? So how do you do that? You're just using the one arm to pull the rope then?
Yeah, so I have to basically just kind of almost wrap the rope around my hand and pull with my like get it under my elbow and pull with my elbow. It is awful, absolutely awful, but we get it done. I've done it before. The most I've done is 270 on a sled, um, which I nearly threw up at, which is horrible. But you get it done.
Yeah, that's how it's mad. It's so cool that they've made it like an adapted version for you guys, but fucking hell, I don't think they've made it
Mm.
easy for you at all. Like those weights and everything sound fucking just as hard.
Yeah, honestly. I'm happy though because they're heavy so that we look good, but they're not absolutely crazy that we're gonna fail and we just look like idiots.
Yeah, 100%. No, I totally agree. Do you know how many people are in your class then, or will you not know until the day?
At the minute on the website, it's just me, unfortunately, so far. But there is a couple of other girls in my category that are thinking about it, but they have until the end of November to enter. So I'm egging them on, like, come on, guys, get in there. But if they don't turn up, then I'll just use it
Yeah,
as a
absolutely.
chance to
Yeah, it'd be
kind of
cool.
show myself off and show off what I can do.
100%, yeah. I think for it being the first year with it being at OSG, obviously it's going to be lesser numbers than usual. But like you said, even if it's just you, like that being at that level and being able to show people that you can compete at that level, will it encourage more people
Hmm.
to join it for the year after and the year after, won't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. I love that. Right, well, let's go on to the last question then. So, what would you say to yourself when you first started the sport?
So obviously when I started the sport, I had absolutely no idea what I was getting myself into. I didn't realize how many kind of lives I would touch. Like I said earlier, these parents that are messaging me, like my little one has the same arm as you. Like if I could tell 28-year-old Erin, who is just about to start her strongman, that she would now be world's strongest woman and have multiple world records and like be a name that people recognize, like I think she'd slap me, to be honest. Um, but like just like you don't realize how much is coming to you. Um, and it is crazy. It's quite humbling at the same time. But yeah, my life has changed for the better, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's class to hear that. I love to hear that. It's awesome. It's such a cool, like, just such a cool part of the sport that, like we've already said, is not getting enough like attention at all. But knowing that you're there and you're sort of like being like, "Fucking, I'm over here, watch me," it's just mint.
Yeah, yeah.
Class. And what do you think then that your side of the sport needs more of to be able to grow and progress?
I think we definitely need more backing from like the bigger like official strongman, like the bigger kind of, not even saying like Giants Live and stuff, but the bigger strongman companies need to kind of look at us and recognize us as professional athletes because this is what we are. Um, like we've got an amazing, amazing bunch of people that need more of a platform to show off what we can do. Because, like for example, when we go to Fit Expo, we're always beside the official strongman, either the Britons or the Englands, which is great because it does tend to bring in a crowd. 90% of the people are over watching, obviously, the big boys, which is fine, because that's what they've come for. But if we had more of like a shout out from them, or if they kind of joined in with us, kind of thing, we just need the bigger companies to kind of recognize everything we do. And funding. We need a lot more funding because everybody is self-funded. Obviously, I'm off to Texas. I've had to pay for all of that myself. Not saying that I want people to pay for it for me, but like I've reached out to companies for sponsorships, like big companies, and every time they're like, "Oh, just let me know how you get on." I've done everything. I've got all the titles. I can't really get on anymore. I don't really know what they kind of
Yeah.
want from me. Um, but yeah, it is quite hard, especially like not even for a disabled athlete, but for a disabled woman. I am finding it quite tricky to get that back in, which is a bit sad.
Yeah, 100%. I think it is the same within the sport. It's just because it's still such a niche sport, isn't it?
Mm,
It just doesn't really have that like big we don't have a lot of backing from like big companies yet. And even if we do, it's only for like the elite top level of the sport. It's not really washed down enough
yeah.
for everybody else at the moment, is it? But yeah, I totally agree.
Mm,
I think it's a super interesting, and I know just like GB Disabled Strongman's been about for a pretty long time now as well, and it's
yeah.
growing every year, but it does seem to be a little
Mm,
bit like behind just the sort of grassroots level anyway, which is a real shame for everybody because
yeah.
I think it's just super important to show that, and it makes our sport, it makes it us look better because it's more inclusive, isn't it? It shows that like anyone can do this sport. It doesn't matter if you've got like a physical disability or anything
Mhm.
else, you can still enjoy strongman, you can still do it as a sport.
Exactly, yeah, and, like, I've done competitions before where it's been, um, we've joined able-bodied and disabled together, and we've kinda ran them on the same day. There's one in Melton Mowbray every year, which is really good. But it's nice for some of the, like, the big boys to come over and do some of our lifts because it kinda shows what people are capable of. Like, people will try and do Mark Connor's one-handed log and absolutely embarrass themselves, but he'll do it like it's so easy.
Yeah.
Or even like I said earlier, I was recording with the Sidemen last week, and KSI, obviously he's a massive boxer, he's really athletic. He tried my axle press. It was only 40 kilos and he couldn't do it. So I was a bit like, haha. Like it's quite like nice. I love getting people to come in and be like, try have a go then. Like I might make it look easy, but actually it's not easy.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it is relative as well, isn't it? It's like the weights and like there's always that debate of like the seated deadlift where everyone's like, well, yeah, it's a seated deadlift. It's not as hard as a standing up one.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, but have you seen the weights that they're doing? Like that's not normal weights. Like
No.
they're still way above where you could do if you just sat down and tried to do a seated deadlift. Like it's completely different.
Absolutely. Like even yeah, even just that my Brits just gone, I had deadlift, axle deadlift for reps, and it was 120 kilos. And people would think, why have you got 120 kilos at Brits? Like it should be way higher than that. But my deadlifts are all legs because obviously I use my sling. I can't use my lats. I can't really like pull myself back. Everything is all leg. So I say to people, like, put my sling on and try. Like it's not as easy as it looks.
Yeah, 100%. No, I totally agree. It's not the same thing at all, but when I had tore my bicep and I was
Mm.
deadlifting with a like deadlift strap instead of like just using my hands, oh my God, it is so I was nowhere near like where I could maximally pull from at all. Like nowhere near. It's insane how different that lift is
Yeah.
using strap instead of actually using like your arms. It's just crazy.
Hmm.
I love that. Right. Okay. So I wanted to ask you as well, just a couple of little questions just about your physical disability and as well for people like who are listening to the pod. So how do you like, are you all right with people coming up and just asking you in the gym, like about how you do your lifts and stuff like that? Like, is there a better way to approach it? Is there a worse way to approach it? Like, what are the sort of interactions you've had around that in the gym?
So I'm very open to talk about it. If people ask me, I haven't got an issue. What I do have an issue with is people kind of obviously making jokes and trying to be funny when they're not really like my friends and stuff. I do get a bit funny with that. But like if somebody came up to me in the gym and was like, "Oh, I'm really interested in what you're doing. Like like can I ask questions?" Like absolutely got no problem with talking about it. I like to educate people because nobody. Sometimes I'll go to a new gym and people will see my arm. They're like, "Oh, let me help you. Let me get the bar out." And I'm like, "No, no, no, no. Like it's okay. I can do it. Like I appreciate the help." Um, but it's quite cool when I do my lift and people look and like, actually, like fair play. Um, because I hate sympathy. I don't
Yeah,
want anybody feeling sorry for me. Um, but honestly, if anybody ever come up to me and said, "Oh, can I ask about this?" Like, no problem at all. Like, crack on. If anything, it's again, it's another opportunity to kind of show off a
yeah,
little bit. Um, and just educate people on
yeah,
limb differences because when people just kind of see people with one arm and not realize that they're not just amputees. Like I have got an arm. I always say I've only got one arm. I have got an arm. It's not. I mean, it doesn't do much, but like it's good to, especially the younger generation, just to educate them a little bit.
100%. Yeah. And I think a lot of people have that fear where they don't want to ask because they don't want to offend you and they don't want to upset you and stuff like that. But then I think that gaining that knowledge and knowing how to speak to people like that and like ask about disabilities in a respectful way is like super important
Mhm.
just as part of life, isn't it?
Yeah, and like so I'm a nursery manager as my that's my full time job, um, and obviously my preschoolers when they get to a certain age they clock that my arm is different and they're little savages like why do you look like that, so you kind of have to have a bit of a thick skin to work with kids, but it is nice to be able to tell them because even years ago when I first started in childcare I wouldn't know how to answer that question because I'd be like, "Oh, I'm just different." But now I'm like, I can really like focus on it, and like July is Disability Pride Month, so we like had a whole thing at work about it. Because again, it's good for the children to know these things and to see people like me in action every day, like doing my day to day job, let alone being in the gym. Um, And it's good, like, starting them so young at it.
Yeah, 100%. I can't even imagine working in a nursery, like, that must be fucking hell on earth. I fucking can't
It
deal
has
with
its
kids at
days.
all.
Because I'm the manager,
It
I'm like,
must
"Oh, the phone's ringing. See you later, guys."
yeah, fuck this. Any excuse to get out of there. It's mad that. It must be so busy though, working at a nursery and then also training and doing all this sort of stuff. You must be busy as
Yeah.
fuck all the time.
Yeah, yeah, literally. So I work either till 4:30 or 6, and then I'm at the gym for 2 or 3 hours every evening. I tend to do, like, my bigger events days at the weekend because 'cause I've got more time. Because the last thing I wanna be doing is doing a whole stone medley at 7 o'clock in the evening on a Wednesday.
No, bollocks to that. With the this is one question actually I was gonna ask. With the stones then, if so you're using the sling, the ladder sling. Do you use tacky
Yeah.
as well, or is it just the ladder sling?
No, I don't use tacky. I tried to use it once and it just absolutely ripped my arm open. Um, but no, I don't need to use the tacky because this thing kind of hugs the stone enough. It's basically, again, for me, it's all legs, back, and bicep. If I haven't got my arm in the right position on the thing, I'm almost like rowing it up, which is obviously not good. I need to get my arm right underneath and grab the ladder. My knuckles are always battered and bruised, but yeah, I'm very blessed. There's not a lot of people that have that thing. It was custom made for me and Mark. So I'm really, really blessed to have that one because there's a lot of people around the world that message me like, "Where did you get your sling from?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'll go talk to Mark." Um, so yeah, I'm very lucky to have one of the only three, I think, in the world.
I bet they're expensive as well, are they?
I think so, yeah. So the main sling that I use is, it was a deadlift sling that was made by a guy in America that lost his arm in an accident. The Aldridge arm, it's called. That was £170 from America. You can get them in the UK now, funnily enough. But when I ordered it, I think it was about £200 I paid just to get the sling. That was just to deadlift. And then yeah, all the adaptations and stuff kind of come with it. But yeah, it is an expensive sport, but I do it because I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's the thing, isn't it? It's an expensive spot for everybody, but I guess for like if you're having to buy slings and stuff as well, that makes it fucking adds up and adds up, doesn't
Mm,
it? But what's the wear on them like?
yeah.
Do they wear quite like are they all right wear wise, or do you have to replace them?
So my sling at the minute, I've had it now for 2.5 years. It's not kind of wear and tearing, but it gets really bunched up on my shoulder. And then when I'm doing like a stone run, it slips down, which is really annoying. So I am thinking about getting a new one. But they are quite sturdy. They're made with the same kind of fabric as a seat belt in a car. So they're quite strong.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. Um, I love that. I just find it so interesting. So is the sling that you use for the stones the same one that you use for the sandbags as well? Then
Yeah. So it's like, if you stretch it out, it's almost like a ladder. It's got obviously the two lines and then um, gaps in between, to grip the stone and also for me to grab onto it. And then I use like a straight um, strap for deadlift, and it wraps around the bar and then clips back up onto my shoulder. And I use that as well for like farmers. And I'll also use this sling for the stones for like front carries, things like that. Um, so I need to have good grip. Thankfully, I've got quite good grip, but um, yeah, there's always a way around something.
absolutely. But for the farmers as well then, so do you strap the strap, into the farmers onto the farmer's handle? How do you find that? Do you not feel like does it wobble more than, like, if you're holding onto it in your hand or
Yeah, so it does, it swings around quite a lot. So I have to be, as much as you want to move as quick as possible while doing farmers, I have to be really conscious of where the farmer is actually going, because if that swings in front of me, then I've got a knee full of farmers. Um, so yeah, it is trickier. We don't tend to have farmers in disabled strongman, which is good for us, but obviously now I've got the frame in OSG. At least that's a little bit more fixed. So it's a bit safer for us. But
Mm.
yeah, I do train farmers at the gym because it's good to for the grip more than anything. But yeah, not my favorite event.
No, 100%. Well, it feels like, especially with that, like with the sling, you're adding in an extra like element of grip on your hand. So specifically for like stones and sandbags, you're having to grip with your hand, whereas like we wouldn't be. You just stick your hands to the stone. Your hands don't do like a great deal. We're like when we're doing stone
Yeah.
lifting and stuff, but you've got that extra element where you are having to grip because you're holding on to the other side of the sling, aren't you?
hmm Yeah, like, I think I see my physio like every 2 months because of something got to do with my bicep or my forearm or my shoulder because of like with my axle press, I have to have quite strong forearms to keep it balanced. With the stones, my bicep has to be strong so it doesn't tear basically. Um, so yeah, everything is literally like my left side is so like obviously I'm quite unbalanced anyway, muscle wise, but my left side is it has to be wham because I have no choice.
Yeah, yeah, it's not gonna work if your left side isn't warm, yeah, absolutely. It's class though that. I wanna know as well, so when you put I'm sorry, I've lost my head, I'm just really interested in all this. With the sling, is it attached then to your shoulder, or is it like sort of a harness around both shoulders, or is it just on the one shoulder? Because I imagine that will be a lot of pressure on that shoulder.
So it wraps around my shoulder, goes under my arm, around the shoulder, and then it goes around across my chest and around my back. So it's only kind of connected this one side. And we are looking to me and Mark are trying to make one where it's almost like a backpack because obviously it slips off. And then I have like a clip here and then a clip on the back as well. Um, so you kind of adjust it. When I deadlift, it's all clipped at the front, and then when I do stones and sandbag, I've got one clip at the front and then one at the back to make it a bit more even. Um, but it is when we
Yeah,
first kind of started doing this sport, me and my husband, like we had days in the gym where we were just figuring this thing out, like trying to work it, seeing what works best. And I think we figured it out now.
yeah, yeah,
And we're still learning, like there's still
skills.
things that don't work and do work. So every day is a school day.
Yeah, 100%. It's quite a nice, like, problem-solvey type of area though, isn't it? Like, you could trying to work out
Yeah.
what's gonna work best and what adaptations you can use. Is there any rulings, like, within GB Disabled Strongman of what adaptations you can use? Like, is there certain, like, kit that you're not allowed to use because it's, like, too good or anything?
Not in my class. If I have, for example, I had my very first competition, I had a cross carry. When I was practicing, obviously this was my first time doing a competition, so I didn't know what the rules were. I was practicing just carrying doing almost like a Zercher carry on a yoke. And I was wrapping this thing around the yoke and like attaching it to my body like really, really tight. When I got to the competition, they were like, you're not allowed to wrap your sling around it. It has to be just wrapped around once and grab onto it. So I was a bit like, oh shit, like what do I do now? Um like I can't just like clip myself in and let it hang off my body. That's kind of cheating basically. But otherwise, no, there's nothing that I
Yeah.
can't or can't really have. Trying to think. With the guys in the wheelchairs, so they when they do their stones, they lift a stone from one platform like over to the other platform and they wheel the chair in between. Recently there's been a new rule of no tacky allowed at all because the chairs are specially made for disabled strongman and they only take a certain amount of weight and things like that. But tacky is starting to kind of get into the brakes and all the nuts and bolts. So they've completely banned tacky for the senior class, which is obviously massive for them because when you're trying to move a 150 kilo stone without tacky, like that, you're gonna bust a bicep.
100%, yeah. Yeah, that's it. It's mad that though, but I sort of understand it because I imagine getting tacky in a wheelchair is like the fucking worst thing that could ever happen. Like, I bet it's fucking
Yeah,
terrible to try and get it off.
yeah, and like again, we don't have like we've only got two wheelchairs in the sport, and they're obviously specially made. But if they break, we haven't got like the funding to get new ones, so we need to look after what we've got.
Yeah, 100%. That's so interesting then. So do people who are in wheelchairs then, they compete in the wheelchairs that are provided by GB Disabled Strongman as specific strongman wheelchairs?
Yeah, so the wheelchairs have like a platform over them. So obviously if you're doing stones or sandbags, it doesn't fall on their legs. If they're doing things like axle press or like log, obviously they'll do it seated down, they'll do it on a bench and then they're strapped in because they're not allowed to use any leg drive at all. So like we've got guys like Dave Walsh does like 150 kilo axle press, strict press basically, because he can't use any leg drive because I mean he can't use his legs anyway. But like it's absolutely crazy what some of these guys can move. Like it's mental.
That is mad. That's mental because anyone doing a seated strict press at 150 kilos is fucking
Yeah.
wild numbers, that isn't it? Like, I don't think I've ever seen
Yeah.
anybody do that.
No, honestly.
Absolutely crazy. Right. Well, is there any final words that you want to say then about Strongman, about the disabled Strongman scene, anything like that before we move on to the final part of the podcast?
I don't think so. I think just kind of if everybody could follow GB Disabled Strongman on Instagram and kind of just give us a little bit of backing, whether it's just a like and a share and a follow, because we want to carry it on for as many years as possible. And without people kind of supporting us, we can't do that. So just that really.
Hell yeah, we love that. Right. We'll leave on that note then and the strongman side of it, and we'll move on to the final part of the podcast, which is the silly goose section.
Silly goose. It's silly goose time, where our lips get loose and our minds run free. Silly goose. It's silly goose time, where we chat a load of shit that's of absolutely no use. It's silly goose time.
So, do you have a silly goose that you would like to bring to the table, Erin?
I don't. I kind of wanted to see what could be thrown at me.
Perfect. That's fine. I've always got them in my back pocket just in case. So this one came this morning because I was watching reels about disco snails. But my question for you is, would you rather have to live in a snail shell forever or a crab shell?
Oh, I'd probably say a crab shell. I feel like a snail shell would be slimy, and I don't really like slimy. But then a
Yeah,
crab shell
that's a
would be
good
wet
shout. I
because they
mean, you
live in
can
the
make it
ocean.
anything you want. Yeah, crab shell. And it's going to be stinky because crabs are pretty smelly.
Yeah. But I feel like there'd be more room in a crab shell, and I like a bit of space, so I'm going to go with the crab.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fair shout. See, because I was sort of thinking, I was trying to work out something that was similar to a snail, but that wasn't too, like, you know, when you do a would you rather and you're like, I don't want something too good because people will instantly choose that to the snail. But then I think, would you rather be a crab or a snail? You're always going to pick crab because crabs are just like
Mm.
better suited to everything, aren't you? So like living in the shells, slightly
Yeah.
different. But I do agree, you're going to have more room in a crab shell. The only thing that I would like about the snail shell is that it's got the curly whirly inside. So you're going to have like a little bit of weird
Yeah.
space. Like if you were small enough, you would have like extra rooms in like a little weird matrix of like curly whirlies going backwards, wouldn't you?
Yeah. My fear would be more people stand on snails than they do crabs as well, so I might get squished.
That's a very good shout. Honestly, if I stand on a snail and like I hear that crunch, I feel so terrible. Like it's the worst
Oh,
feeling in the
you're
world,
so
isn't it? When you're
guilty.
like,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, bro. I didn't mean this.
Especially when you're coming home and it's wet and it's dark and you can't see anything and you just hear that. Oh, can't stand it.
Um, Nothing worse. It's the same when it's like when it's dark and it's been raining a lot and there's frogs on the road. If I kill a
Oh my
frog on the
God.
road while I'm driving and I've realised I've done it, I'm like, oh, I feel like getting out and going and picking it up and being like, I'll give you a proper burial. I apologise.
I was driving home a couple of weeks ago and I hit a pigeon and I looked in my mirror and I could see him on the road like having a fit. And I was like, he's still alive. Like I've given him brain damage. I rang my husband. I was like, I think I've just killed a pigeon.
There's nothing worse, is there? There's nothing worse. I once remember I was coming
Yeah.
back on my motorbike one day and I had a fucking bird. I can't remember what even type of bird it was. It was just a small one, like a starling or something, fly across me. But as it flew across me, I was going quite fast and it hit me in the neck. And like I saw
Oh,
it just like spiral off out of control. But then obviously I'd got like horrifically winded. So I was on my bike like unable to breathe, watching this bird spiral to its death. I was like, this has been a terrible experience. Never again. You know, I didn't ride my bike for weeks. I was so
I
traumatized off
bet.
of it. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
funny.
Not the vibe. Not the vibe. But yeah, no, I think I agree with you. I think I'd rather be in a crab shell than in a snail shell. But then also,
Mm.
I just think disco snails are a big part of my life at the moment. It seems to be the only reels that I get, so I'm really into disco snails. Like, I just think they're hiding something in those shells, aren't they? They're having a nice time because
Yeah.
surely, like, it's the most inefficient way to be alive, that isn't it? You're like a slug, but with an extra backpack on. Like, surely that doesn't really. Does it help
Yeah.
them a lot, or does it not? Does it hinder them?
Yeah, I don't know, because obviously you can hide from a lot of things. Slugs are just out and about, aren't they? Nobody likes a slug. I'd rather look at a snail.
No, but yeah, I agree, but I don't really feel like you can hide. Like birds can just crack you open, can't they? Like all they're doing is it's just a little bit
Yeah.
more of a like Rubik's Cube puzzle to get you out of there. And anything. Imagine how
Mm.
traumatizing that would be, stuck in your snail shell thinking, I'm sound me, and then a bird drops you from like 10 feet in the air and you crack open on the floor. It'd
Meaning
be
that.
sad times that.
And then you're a slug, so there's no winning.
And then I don't know whether that's true either. That surely can't be. Snails and slugs are different things, aren't you? You can't just take a shell
I
off
think
a
so,
snail and
yeah.
make it a slug, can you? I Am I being stupid there?
I'm going to Google it when I go home.
Yeah, this is a point for us all to Google something interesting from the podcast. Can snails be slugs? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. There'll be someone who's really into animals listening to this being like, you fucking idiots. Of course they can't. It's a different animal.
Stick to Strongman.
Let me know. Stick to Strongman. I don't know about the snail and slug thing. Stick to Strongman. Right, well, that was a great silly goose. Thank you very much for entertaining that. So where can people find you if they want to follow along for your journey? And obviously, if you've got anything to plug, any sponsors, anything like that, plug them now.
So you can follow me on Instagram. My name is Erin X Harris _WSW. I post basically every day, so it's not just my gym page, it's my everything page. So you'll see everything about my life, and the odd meme as well. And then probably just follow GB Disabled Strongman, my coach Alfie, and then you can follow my husband as well. He's all right, Jack Harris. He's pretty cool.
Perfect. Great shout outs. We love it. I'll tag everyone that you've mentioned below in the show notes as well, so people can go and find it. But thank you so much for being on the podcast. It has been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been fun.
No problem at all. And we will see you all on the next one. Goodbye. Thanks for listening to this episode of Strongwoman Highs, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to support the podcast, then please give us a follow on Instagram. Or if you would like, we're also on buymeacoffee.com/Strongwoman Highs. This is where you can send us tips, or you can also join our membership area, which is $5 a month or £4 a month. It's the silly gosling level. We'll post out any extra content that we get on there, and hopefully a few little free giveaways of things as well. The podcast currently doesn't cost a lot to run, which is what we're trying to keep it as, but we would like to be able to cover our costs, and also once those costs are covered, any profit that is made on Strongwoman Highs will be getting saved up and put into a pot for future Strongwoman competitions that we can sponsor. So if you have a Strongwoman competition that you'd like to be sponsored, or if you want to be on the podcast, then give us a shout, send me a message on Instagram or on YouTube, anywhere else you can get us, and we'll get it sorted, because the more women that we can get on, the better. Thanks for listening and watching. Bye!